Hi everyone, welcome back to Bypass Carnivore. It's been a couple of days since I did a video, did an update. I think it was Sunday actually, the day of my family reunion. I didn't bring the girls with me today. I just didn't think it was a good idea. I want to push myself a little bit today, and my youngest one, well, I'm sure none of you really want to hear this, but my youngest one, she's 9 months, and she got her first cycle. So I didn't get her fixed in time. I was afraid to bring her down here and then run into other dogs and have to deal with that. But I decided I wanted to come anyways and continue my walking and see if I could push myself a little bit today. And so I want to show you where I am. I just come down from up this hill. Not sure if it's coming in good enough. And I am about to make it to that dock that I've wanted to make it to. I really love water. I love the waterfalls. I love waterfalls. This is going to be a challenge for me. It's been one already, coming down this hill. Going back up is going to be... This is why I didn't want to bring the dogs. But, my knees aren't good on steps yet. My knees do feel better, much better. I couldn't have done this a few months back. I have, I think, 4 or 5 steps that lead down from my back deck down into the backyard, and I couldn't even do it anymore. So just the idea that I can do these steps, I'm just so grateful for it. I'm grateful that this way of eating has taken away that pain, because it got to a point. Okay, I'm going to try and skip the steps and go down the side. Okay. Well, I'm not going to be able to do that one, I don't think. Anyways, I don't know what lake this is, but it's beautiful. It's really nice. I know all the lakes around here, so I'm kind of confused as to where this comes out at. And I can't see around the bend down there, so there's steps over there. There's steps on the other side. So, wow, is this nice? Sorry if the sun is interrupting this video. They made this really nice deck. Not sure if it's picking it up or if the sun's getting in the way. Oh, I love this. I really like to know where this comes out at. It's not a very sturdy walking stick, whoever left out there. That probably blew down in the storm. So I can't see around that corner down there. I don't know how to... There we go. It goes down around the corner. But I sort of know where I'm at, so you got the freeway on the left. I can't imagine. Let me see if I can zoom in here. It's kind of hard to see with this sun. There it is, in the blue. See them steps? I don't know if that's private property or if that's part of this park. But, yeah, very nice. Very nice. I think this is going to become my new favorite place to go to. And it'll give me exercise coming up and down off that hill. Trying to find a place to sit where the sun's not going to bother this video. Oh, I like this. I miss getting out and doing things. I miss it much more than I thought I would. You know, when I've been walking up on the trail above, yeah, I like the walk, but it didn't have the same feel. But now that I'm getting a little more, I guess, stronger, have a little more stamina, getting to this water, oh man, I can't even tell you what I'm feeling right now. This is a game changer because I haven't been able to do this in so long. It almost makes me want to cry. How stupid is that? Oh, I can't believe how happy I am right now. You know, in my first video, I talked about how I grew up pretty chunky all my life. And later on, I packed on the pounds more and more. And like everybody in life, we all have our struggles, and I'm no different. I started running away when I was 15 and lived on the streets for a while, and it's not a place to be when you're a young lady, you know? But, anyway. I really love this lake. Wonder if we can put a canoe or a paddle boat in here or something. That looks like another dock on down. I'm not sure. I'd really like to know if that's private property over there. Huh. Can't be. Anyways. You know, for the last 4 years, I have sat in my room and stared at 4 walls, and I said I'd never do that again. Getting to this lake, it's just like, I'm just realizing how much I've missed in the last 4 years. So I guess I need to tell you why or how I ended up in my bedroom. Well, what I'm going to say, I don't want anybody to take the wrong way. I really don't. I guess the best way to explain this is to explain that at my heaviest, I was housebound. Kind of like Bill in Alaska. Well, not kinda, I was. And I'd been that way for several years. I feel so guilty to have to admit that my only child, my son, you know, he was maybe a year out of high school when he had to start taking care of me. Literally. I could still wash up and stuff like that. It wasn't easy. When you're that big, it takes all your effort to do just the simplest tasks. So, anyways, at my highest weight, my mother got sick. And as a family, we were going through some things already. And her illness, she just struggled a lot because of what was going on in her body, what was going on in the family, and I wasn't any help to her. I could barely take care of myself. I remember when she went into the hospital, the last time she was in the hospital, the entire family was called in to see her. And while my family stood around her bed and held her hand and whispered words of encouragement, and I was in the hallway. I was in the hallway, in the doorway really, because the wheelchair that I was in couldn't get through the door. How disgusting is that? So anyways, wasn't long after that she went to hospice, and then she passed. We took her back to West Virginia, to where we're from, and it was a 4-hour drive, and that was a very hard drive. Long 4 hours for me. It was hard on my body. It was so difficult. And I'd say within a week of burying my mom, I ended up in emergency. And they called my family in. The family again, I should say. And said I wouldn't make it through the night. I had some really bad blood clots that went to my lungs and shut down one side of my heart. I can't explain it. I really can't. I wasn't afraid. And it's weird because being in bed for so many years, I actually knew it was coming. And, because you know your body. And I don't know. But at that time, I had some really good friends online that I had met in a Christian chat room, and there were 4 of us that decided to start our own Christian chat room. And we ran that thing for a couple of years. And at first they didn't even realize I was in bed all that time. Eventually they did. But they were the ones who really encouraged me and prayed for me, and just they were there. So anyways, I was in the hospital that night, and we happened to be having a Bible study in the chat room, and so here I am in ICU, and I told my son, I want my computer, I want my laptop. And so he brought my laptop to the hospital, and it was kind of funny. During the middle of the night, the ER doctor that admitted me, he actually came up to see how I was doing and if I had already passed yet, if I had passed yet. What he found was me laying in the ICU room with a pair of headsets, big, thick headsets on my ears, laughing and carrying on, and that, I was like that the entire time I was in that ICU room. I can't explain it. I was in there for a little over a week, and then they transferred me to another floor, but I can't explain why I felt at peace. I had no fear whatsoever, and everybody kept saying, oh my gosh, every doctor I saw, every nurse that came in, they kept saying over and over, you need to take this seriously. Well, I did take it seriously. I knew it was serious. It's just, I just knew that if I died, it was going to be okay. And if I lived, it was going to be okay. It was a really, it was just a strange feeling. I'll never be able to really fully explain that. But anyways, eventually I got out of the hospital and everything, and I began reflecting on my life and my only child, and where would he be if I had passed? Because I'm all he's got. And then I thought about my dad. And I thought, man, I don't want to have sorry. I don't want to have those same regrets that I had with my mother. I didn't want that with my dad. So I was determined to lose the weight, whatever it took. So I decided to have the gastric bypass. I couldn't have it right away because I was on the blood thinners because of the blood clots. But once I came off of them, I had already set things in motion for when I came off. And I had it. And I'm glad I did, because not only because I don't think I'd be here if I hadn't. I really think I would be gone by now. But also because after I lost the weight, after I got to my lowest weight, and I was out and hiking and biking and swimming, doing things I hadn't done since I was a kid, that's when my dad's health started to take a turn. And at first I took care of him at his house. And I still kept busy. He had about an acre of ground, and I made sure the grass was cut, and the hedges were done, and the flower beds were weeded. And I also started a garden, which I had never done a garden in my entire life. My dad did when we were kids, but I don't know, I was just never one to mess with flowers and plants and that kind of thing. But I was just feeling so good, having all that weight off of me and experiencing all new things, and my taste had changed. And so I started this little garden. It was just funny because when I told him, I said, Dad, you mind if I put in a garden? And I remember him looking at me, and he said, you want to put in a garden? And I said, yeah, I do. I really do. So he walked outside and he showed me one little tiny area. I'm not kidding. It was one small area. And he said, you can plant 2 little rows right there. And he walked away. He was a character. But, so I did. I planted those 2 rows. And they were small rows. They were real small. I don't even know if they went the whole length of a car. But you know what? That's okay. He didn't think I'd do it because he knew how I was as a kid. I'll be honest, I was a lazy kid. I didn't like the garden. I didn't like to do work in the yard and stuff like that. And it was always a battle to get me to do things like that. So he really didn't think I would do it, much less keep it up. Well, I did, and then the following year, without telling him, I added 2 more rows. And then I took him out and showed it to him. And it was kind of funny because over time, when he saw how much I was enjoying it and really putting in the effort, then it was all hands on, He was right there to give me all his tricks and tips, and yeah. And then the following year, I had a greenhouse built right beside it. My garden just kept getting bigger and bigger. Yeah. Those memories are very, very precious to me. Him going out and telling me about, how far apart the seeds should be and how you need to prune this or that. Well, he ended up having some problems with one of his feet. I believe it was his right foot. He got this sore on it. One thing led to another, and it became gangrene and went up halfway to his knee, and he had to have it amputated. And man, there's so much I could tell you. There's so much. My dad was an amazing man. He taught me so much. He taught me more in the last 7-8 years of his life than I had learned throughout my entire life. He was he loved to joke. He had a certain way of joking and using sarcasm, and I was always very backward, and I don't know, for some reason I was always afraid of him. He was a drill sergeant in the Army, and not that he was like that with us kids, although there, to a certain point maybe. But the things he endured, anyways, what I was getting back to, as a kid, I didn't know how to take him, because he would say something and you would think he was joking, and you'd find yourself flat on your ass on the floor. Sorry, flat on your, hopefully I'll be able to bleep that out. You'd find yourself on the floor, on the ground, whatever, because he wasn't joking. And then there were other times he was joking, and I would take him real serious. You know, and I'd be just scared and be looking at him like, you know, and he'd say, "Diane, I'm just kidding." So I never really understood how to take him. But as I began taking care of him as an adult here, it changed. Things changed. I changed as an adult, you know, from a child to an adult. He changed. Anyways, so he lost the one leg. Went through therapy and learned how to walk again with the prosthetic. And it wasn't easy. He was a big guy, and he was an older man, you know, and it wasn't easy for him to learn to do that, but he did it. And then 1 week, exactly 1 week after we got him home, ended up back in the hospital, and he had to have open heart surgery. And he was in the hospital for 3 months. We almost lost him several times. They even told him, "I don't think you should have this surgery, Mr. Putter." I should bleep that out. He just, but he was determined. He said, "If there's a chance, I'm going to take it." And he did. And he won. I can't even begin to explain to you how strong of a man he was. He hardly ever complained. But he lost that leg, then he had open heart surgery, and I'll be daggone if they didn't have to take his second leg. Took the second leg, ended up with kidney failure, had to go on dialysis. Had some stomach issues, they ended up with a colostomy. I mean, it just went on and on and on and on and on. Coming back from dialysis one day, the driver didn't strap him in right. This is after he already lost both legs. Don't ask me why she didn't strap him in. Makes no sense. So she didn't strap him in. She's going over this bridge, and off the one side of the bridge, the freeway, there's an on-ramp that comes, or I should say an off-ramp that comes off the freeway and onto the main road. They're supposed to slow down, they're supposed to stop, and this car didn't stop, so she slammed on her brakes. And you know what happened? My dad went flying. He didn't have any legs to brace himself, to stop himself. And so he ended up with some broken bones and fractures. Just, the doctors used to joke with him. It's kind of funny, but kind of sad, you know. He'd go into an office and they'd be like, well, Mr. So-and-so, you're a complicated man. And they would all laugh, including him. And they'd say that. He's a complicated man because he had so many issues, you know. Just remarkable. Anyways, over time, taking care of him, one thing led to another. I kind of passed up some things. I'm sorry, this video is probably really long now. But, he lost his home. And he couldn't move into my home because I still had it. It was actually an apartment. But we couldn't get his wheelchair down through the hallway to get to my apartment, so that wasn't going to work. So got a mobile home, bought this mobile home, and had a ramp built. Had the door to the entrance widened so that it would, you know, get his wheelchair in and out. And that's where we were. And I took care of him there for, well, we were at that place for, I'm still there actually. But him and I together, we were there, I want to say 4 years. During that 4 years, you know, at first I still tried to stay active. I don't know if any of you have ever had to take care of a loved one or not. It ain't easy. And I guess that's why I said at the beginning, you know, I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way. I don't regret one moment of our time together. But it wasn't easy, especially as time went on. You know, the more things that kept happening to him, the less he was able to do and the less he wanted to do. And, you know, at first we would go for walks around the park. You know, him in his wheelchair, and I would walk beside him. But then it just got to where he didn't even do that. And I always tried to stay positive. I always tried to have a grin and but I have to admit, I was getting really tired. It was a very strict diet. It was very strict. Wow, is that a big fish? Let's see if I could show. Sorry. That's crazy. You know, I could feel myself wanting to cry a few minutes ago. It's kind of... My dad and I loved to fish. Well, Dad loved to fish. I would go with him when I was younger. And a little bit when I got a little older. I tried to get him to go with me after he moved in at the mobile home. He got all excited. We took out all the poles. We went through all the lure. We went, you know, the whole 9 yards. We talked about it. And every time I said, yeah, you want to go today? He'd say, no, not today. as his health got worse and worse, I started to experience some things because we weren't doing anything. We weren't going anywhere. And as much as I tried to stay active, I wasn't active anymore. I found myself sitting a lot. And my one sister, she couldn't understand that. She'd be like, I don't understand why you're putting on weight. You know, you're busy all the time. You're taking care of Dad. You got to turn him. You got to get him in and out of the chair. You got to do this. You got to do... Well, but it's only a few steps to his bedroom. You know, it's only a little bit of exertion. It's not exercise, you know. I could feel myself getting more and more depressed. And again, I tried not to show that. And I didn't always succeed with it. I know I didn't. Unfortunately. I know there were days. The sleep is what was the hardest, I think, because there were certain medicines and shots that he needed, and at certain times of the day and evening, and I was probably averaging around 3.5 hours a night. And, you know, that catches up to you. There is a baby swimming next to that big one. That is so cool. Maybe that's my dad telling me, don't worry, it's okay. Everything's gonna be okay. So, I'm trying to not make this any longer than it needs to be. The more he wanted to sit, the more I sat. The more he didn't go out of the house, the more I didn't go out of the house. Because he would say, well, where are you going? What are you doing? Even if I was just going into the yard. How long are you going to be? And it got too bad, so bad that it was like he wanted me to stay in the same room he was in. And I hate watching TV. I hate it. But I found myself all day, every day, watching him watch TV. And it was just... And the weight kept coming, and the weight kept coming. And I could see it coming, and there was nothing I could do about it. But on this particular night, he kept calling me into his bedroom. And I was so tired. But it wasn't just that I was tired. I wasn't feeling good. I had a migraine. My head was pounding. And by morning, I was angry. I was really angry. He got up that morning, got his bath. I gave him his breakfast. And I went in my bedroom and I totally ignored him. I couldn't go lay down even though I still had a headache because the day was just beginning. And I sat in there and I was so angry. And that went on for a couple hours. I'm ashamed to say that, but it did. And finally, I just had to kick myself in the rear end, and you gotta get up. You gotta go do the dishes. You gotta take his blood pressure, his blood sugar. You gotta do this, you gotta do that. And so I got up. I went into the kitchen to wash the dishes. And while I was standing there, everything just went wrong. And he had a massive heart attack in my living room. It happened so fast. I sometimes wonder if that's why he kept calling me into his room that night. Maybe he felt something. Maybe he knew something was happening in his body. You know what I mean? I'll never forgive myself for that. He did not deserve that. He didn't deserve that. I can't believe I ignored him on that day. And it was around the time COVID was going on, and we couldn't even bury him right away. He laid in the funeral home for a few weeks because we had to keep waiting for all these clearances, and the VA had to send his death certificate. I don't know why it had to come from the VA in Cleveland. It's the dumbest thing. I didn't handle that very well. And so I don't like being in my living room anymore. I do go in there for a few minutes at a time if I've got company, which I hardly ever get company. I knew that would stop after he passed away. It used to be I'd have family coming all the time, but I knew that was going to come to an end. And so now it's just me in this stupid mobile home. But I got so depressed. Felt so guilty over that last day. I think the first month I didn't even get out of bed. And so that's where I've been. That's where I'm coming from. The last 4 years I've just stayed in my bedroom, and I've kept gaining and gaining and gaining. And like I told myself I'd never get in that position again. I'd never get to where I was just sitting and watching four walls, and here I am. Well, I'm not now. Finally getting out. I'm trying to find my way back. And I think I'm getting there little by little. It's happening. I mean, look where I'm at today. It's beautiful out here. Well, this wasn't going to be the topic of conversation today. It sure wasn't. I don't know, getting to this water just kind of I'm suddenly feeling very peaceful. I really thank everybody out there that been doing all these carnivore videos for all this time. I've been watching all you guys and thinking, can I do that? Can I really do that? I really appreciate you guys. I guess I'm going to end it there because I don't talk about my dad very often anymore, and I'm not sure how I'm feeling. I've got all these, I'm feeling kind of peaceful because I made it to this water. I know that sounds stupid. It's just, I'm not sad. I'm really not. I don't mean to. This is another down video. Good grief. I thought the first one was bad. First one was real bad, wasn't it? Yeah, I've had a lot of depression and I've been really struggling with it really, really bad. But it's almost like, and it didn't happen until I started eating the carnivore way. But I'm actually like, it's actually like something lighter in my head, like, and I don't think it's just fog. There's just something that's lifting. It just feels more, I don't have words for it. But I am starting to feel like I'm starting to feel like there's hope again. Getting out here and walking and hiking and doing what I love to do. Thank you, everybody. And we'll talk to you soon.